Hi guys and welcome back to the Hot Seat. I am your host Priscilla and we are live here at the Social Media Show studio. I hope you guys really enjoyed Evan. He is a great comic. He's up and coming. He's just starting, but you can see that he has the persistence and the drive to get where he wants to go. So like I said, we're going to move over to a different part of entertainment. We were doing stand-up comedy and now we're going to move over to the music side. I always love having performers on here because even though we've had a lot of musicians, we've had a lot of singers, all of them are different in their own right for style, their voice, their start, everything like that. So my next guest is actually so amazing. He has an amazing resume. He's traveled all over the world singing, won so many awards, and was recently just inducted into the Las Vegas Black Music Hall of Fame. So everyone, please welcome E.C. Adams. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to have you on. I love the shoes. He's all bedazzled. It's absolutely amazing. A man of class and style, obviously. So, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So, you actually have been mostly in Las Vegas your whole life, apart from being born in Mississippi, right?
Yes. I was born in Vicksburg, Mississippi, but I was raised right here in Las Vegas.
Yes, and you're kind of inspired by the Jackson 5, is that correct?
I was inspired. I saw the Jackson 5 one day on TV. I was like 8 years old, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that's what I wanted to do.
What was it about them? Was it the performance, the stage, the way they moved?
It was the performance, and it was really how people responded to it.
Okay.
You know, if I thought there's somebody who can bring so much joy and happiness to people, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
Bring joy and happiness to people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's definitely, they've changed history with their music in a way, obviously,
awesome.
right? We all know that story. So, how did you start? Where did you in your, 8-year-old mind where you're like, okay, I'm going to do this somehow? Singing lessons?
This is the story. This is an amazing story, but this is a true story. I was being 8 years old. I used to rehearse every night in the bathroom.
Wow, okay.
At home in the mirror doing my best Michael Jackson. And my sisters and brothers and my mother didn't even know I sang. Because, at that age, you kind of afraid about it, you know what I'm saying? But I knew, that's what I wanted to do. So I stayed consistently with it, just practicing. And then I started taking choir. I started singing in church, St. James Missionary Baptist Church, when I was 8 years old. And one day we were having a Men's Day program. And the choir director asked, did anybody want to sing a solo? And so everybody sitting in the choir, and he said, does anybody want to sing a solo in this show? And I put up my little hand. And he taught me my very first solo. It's called Walk Around Heaven All Day. And that's where I just never stopped.
Yeah. Have you ever taken professional vocal training or you just naturally get?
As I got older, I went to a vocal coach to learn how to breathe and learn how, learn how to project and learn where you get your air from to breathe from it.
Right.
I wanted to learn those things. Yes, I did.
Because in order to maintain your voice, you don't want to ruin it. Because if you're doing it the wrong way, as you get older, right, you can strain it and then that's
He actually taught us how to sing, like if you, sometime in the wintertime or if you catch a cold and you get hoarse, he actually taught me how to sing over the top of being hoarse so that you can still the show must go on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So you've traveled a lot. So you did a lot of church choir. You did choir in college. Is that correct? So you did a lot of choir. And so when was your first performance outside of choir to an audience? What was that like?
In high school actually, because I did a lot of we had a group in high school. And what we used to do in high school, we had a band. I used to attend El Dorado High School. And there we had a group called Sounds of the Sun. And what we would do, we would go around to all the junior high schools and we get to perform in front of all of the high school. We had a live band and everything. Yeah. So that's why I really got to get out there performing and live in front of an audience. Yes.
So let's talk about how you moved from that to touring abroad. Because you didn't just tour in the country. You went to South Korea, right?
Yes, I've been to North Korea, South Korea.
Oh, right. That's when I saw North Korea, I was like, oh, okay,
yes.
well.
Yes. That was amazing. A lot of us that grew up here in high school, different schools, and they had their different bands, individual bands at their school. So about 5 of us, we got together after high school, and we formed a band called the Look Band. So we were all from different neighborhoods here in Vegas and different high schools. And then we formed a band, and then we got a chance to go over a tour. We were on a USO tour, and so that was a military tour. And so we went to all military bases in Korea. Unbelievable. And that was in 1991.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever traveled out of the country. And we were there during the holiday season, during the Christmas holiday season, going into New Year. It was very cold.
Yes.
It was very cold. I had never experienced it being that cold like that. So I actually had a coat made while I was over there. And believe it or not, when I came home, it didn't get cold enough to wear that coat here.
Oh, yeah, not in Vegas.
But you know what? But fast forward to now, it's cold enough.
Yeah, at nighttime. It
Yeah,
gets a little chilly.
Yeah, it
the
gets-
wind hits you and you're like, oh.
It's so cold. So that was being on that USO tour. We were on the USO tour for 3 months. And so I got a chance to travel all through North Korea, South Korea, Seoul, Korea. And one of the most amazing things that I've ever experienced on that tour was I had an opportunity to travel from North Korea to South Korea across the DMZ.
Okay.
And a lot of people didn't know what the DMZ is, but it's called the Demilitarized Zone, as you might know it. And it was, and what separates North Korea and South Korea was still at war. They just weren't fighting.
Yeah.
And so I learned all of that while I was
Yeah.
there, and it was just wow. So
It can be kind of scary though. You're like, oh my god, am I
Right.
able to cross
Yeah.
back down there without like thinking that I'm a
And-
spy, right?
And
Things like
that's
that.
one of the amazing things that happened while we were there. We were traveling from North Korea over to South Korea, and we had to cross the DMZ. And again, they have these things called rock soldiers. And these are soldiers that stand at the gate to
Yep.
let you through.
Yep.
You know, and they said that nobody's smiling. It's like,
Nope.
it's a very serious situation.
You feel like, oh my god, I feel like I did something wrong. Did I? Oh my god, I'm going to jail. I feel like I'm not going to go home now.
Everything
Right.
is so serious. And so we
Right.
traveled across there. We performed that night, but we had to be back across the DMZ before it closed. And see, this is something, again, we learned all this while we were there. And we got off stage. We had like 20 minutes to get back, but then we had to pack up. And so as we're coming across on the other side of the bridge, and we could see them closing on that side, and it was like, oh my goodness, are we going to make it? So we got to the other side of the bridge, and we had a Korean driver. And he explained to them what was going on, and they let us in. And I was like, "Ooh, thank
Oh,
you."
good lord. Like if I get stuck here, there's no going back. That's
No,
scary,
no.
yeah.
And I
Exactly.
I learned at that time that there in Korea, when you get out of high school, you don't get a choice. You have to go to the military.
Yes, you do.
There's so many things that I learned. It
Yes.
was wonderful.
Eventually, you have like a max year
Yeah.
as a male
Yeah.
to go, and no matter what you're doing, you can be in the height of your career,
Yes.
and you got to drop it.
You got to
18 months, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's
You know.
how it is. I mean, know it. Like I feel bad, you know.
Right, right.
So why a lot of them that move over here, they give up their citizenship instead
Yeah.
of having dual because it's
Yeah.
a lot to ask.
It is.
So with traveling around, how do you think that shaped you as a performer instead of
Well-
just staying in Vegas, which a lot of people do?
Well, the beautiful thing about it is, well, the one thing about it, because I've performed at just about every hotel on the Las Vegas Strip, but when you get an opportunity to travel outside of the country, you get to see how it is in different places all over the world. And believe it or not, they appreciate you more out of the country. It's amazing. They actually thought I was Michael Jackson getting off the plane one time. I was like, but it was our drummer, and our drummer was
Yeah.
a big comedian, and at that time had long curl and everything. He said, "That's Michael Jackson." It was like Michael Jackson.
You got to get the shades, and I should wear a
Yeah.
red jacket and be like, yes.
Yeah, but I learned how much they really, outside of the country, you know, they really love you. They show you so much love, and it's amazing how you come home and be like, wow, it's a difference, you know, it's a difference. But the beautiful thing about it is music is universal, and that's what I love about music, because you don't even have to speak English and you can understand.
Oh yeah.
I've met people, one time I was on a Motown tour, and even though they didn't speak English, they knew the songs, and they
Yeah.
sing along, and you can see the joy and the happiness
Right.
that it brings to
Right,
people.
or that they'll know like the tune, you'll see them
Yeah.
dancing along to the beat, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, we're here, we're communicating.
Right, right. And so
Right.
that's why I tell people all the time, music is universal.
Mhm.
And it's so, it brings different people from different genres together.
Yeah,
That's what I love about it.
yeah. So I'm sure that you kind of garnered a lot of different stage presence and confidence going to places where you're just like, oh my God, wait a minute, like
Yeah.
I'm doing something
Right,
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 they're
right.
loving me.
They actually cheered for me.
Right, right.
Yes.
So you're really known as your charismatic stage presence. You know, I've seen some of your performances online, and you're up there. You're center stage. You got all this energy. And where does that really derive from? Is it your love for the stage, or do you feed mostly off the audience, or do you kind of have this wall? Do you feel?
Well, the thing for me is I actually love, let me make sure I express that enough. I love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you can step on stage, because you never know what people are going through. You never know what somebody can be not feeling with. Somebody, you know, just had lost their job. You never know what somebody's going through. And just to be able to bring joy to people and you see it on their faces, energy is infectious. You know, I love what I do. Before I hit the stage, I'm already on 500. I'm like, wow. I'm like a caged up animal.
Right.
Let's go. And then when I hear that live, it's nothing like live entertainment. And so when you hear that music live, I don't know how people can sit still because I can't. And I'm
Right.
on stage and I can't sit still. But that's just the fire that I have burning in me ever since I was a child. That wanting to do this and wanting to succeed at doing this,
Right.
wanting to make a living at doing this. You know, I have to I thank God I talk to God all day every day. So I have to thank him because I mean like, God, you actually let me do what I love to do, sing, dance, and entertain, and see the world while
Right.
doing it.
And meet tons of people.
Yeah, meet people from, you know, a wise man told me one time, he said, you see, your name will travel to places that your feet will never go. And at the time when he told me that, I didn't really understand it. He said, just remember, I told you that this was forever ago. Fast forward, I used to perform on Royal Caribbean cruise ship. I did that for about 10 years in their showroom. And when you're on a cruise line, on a cruise ship, you meet people from all over the world. Some places I never even heard of. It's like, wow, I never heard of that.
Right.
You know, where they're from. And so we perform in their showroom, and people, you know, we get introduced to people scream and holler for you and clap and want to shake your hand and take pictures with you, want you to sign autographs. And so I'm experiencing this, and I'm signing autographs one night. And it was a group of ladies saying, "Oh, can we take a picture with you?" And I can't remember what country they were from. And they say, I took a picture with them. I was like, you know, sure, no problem. This, that, and other. Take a picture. And they say, we will take this and tell people about you in our country. And so it hit me like a ton of bricks at that time, what he told me. They would take my name to their country and tell people about, and I've never been there. So my name would
Right.
travel to places that my feet would never go. Incredible.
I know.
Isn't that incredible?
It's
So
absolutely
I have, this has been one of the most amazing things that has ever, me doing music. I also, along my music journey, like right now today, I go to senior citizen facilities and I get a chance to sit down with the seniors. And I get down, and in each one of the facilities that I go to, I'm there for an hour when I'm not performing with my band live on stage. So it's just me without my band and my tracks. And I sit down with just a room full of seniors, and I just get to sing to them. And I go like classics like Sinatra, you know,
Yeah.
Johnny Mathis, you know, Jackie Wilson, classic stuff. And they absolutely love you. And it's so heartfelt. It's almost like you try to hold back the tears because they come up to you and they just don't want you to leave. And
Right.
they thank you because they really appreciate you, number one, for coming,
Right.
and then spending this time with them and then singing all those classic songs
Right.
that they remember growing up on. So I love what I do.
Yeah, I'm sure they look forward to that.
Oh.
Because they have a routine. And then those that are there might battle things like dementia and
Yes.
Alzheimer's. So that might be a core
A trigger.
memory. Yeah, that they might remember the long past. Well, sometimes the short-term memory doesn't really.
There was a gentleman,
Yeah.
one facility I was at, he had to be close to 90 years old. And he's sitting there and he's just rocking back
Yeah,
and forth.
that is what he'll
Right, you know what
remember
I'm
is
saying?
him, right.
And they remember. And so next thing I know, he had tears in his eyes. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I was doing Sinatra. And so the activities director came to me after the show. She said, he would love to meet you. Is that okay with you? I said, sure, sure. So we had just came out of COVID. So that's why she wanted to make sure it was okay with me. I said, sure. So I go over to meet him. And he has tears in his eyes. He said, young man, he said, because I did My Way by Sinatra, he said, I have to tell you, Frank Sinatra and I were very close friends.
Oh, wow.
And he said, if
Yeah.
I hadn't have been looking at you, I would have thought Frank was here.
Right.
Just now he's crying. Now I'm trying to
Right.
keep myself together.
Well, that's amazing, though.
Yeah.
And then you can
Yeah.
sit and learn their story.
Yes.
You can learn a lot from people,
You really can.
you know, just by listening
Yes.
to them.
Mhm.
And so, do you also write music? Or
I do.
Okay.
I do. I'm a songwriter. I have 2 CDs out. My first original CD came out in 2016. And I'm working on my new project now.
Okay. So, would you say your genre is Motown?
No, actually, you know
R&B,
what? I just
ballad.
love, my genre is just old school music.
Okay.
And I love old school R&B. I love old school rock and roll. I love old classics. I love Motown, of course. And so I just love old school music.
So, where does your inspiration stem from when it comes to lyrics and stuff like
You
that?
know, my life experiences. Yeah, a lot of things that you go through in life, and it's amazing how you can just sit back and like, wow, I actually experienced this and write about it. Yes.
So you've been here, which is interesting. Very rarely do I get a performer that's been in Vegas the duration of their career. How have you seen live music and entertainment change, and where do you think that's heading?
Well, it's amazing to me. I used to perform on the Las Vegas Strip. We had almost, if you want to call it a residency, when we were a resident, we were there like 5 nights a week out at the Paris Hotel. And it's changed from that now. It's just COVID happened. It's very rarely that we're out there like that. So that's why you see a lot of artists today here in Vegas work in different groups because you can't get consistent work just in one group. And so that's the thing that's changed the most because we used to consistently work. And now it's broken up till you have some dates here and you might be another date 2 months down the road there. So you have to do different things. So I actually, I do my own solo show, which I have an upcoming show. I'm doing a tribute to Michael Jackson and Prince. And it's a dinner show at the Italian American Club on March 3rd, and you are cordially invited.
Ooh, okay, I love
Yeah.
Michael Jackson
Oh,
and
yeah.
Prince. Yes.
And I'll be with my live band, and it's a 90-minute fire show, okay? It's a running, but I also perform with one of my friends. He does a tribute to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, okay, love
So,
that.
and so I sit in with him and perform with him. And then another friend who does a Motown show. And then I
Okay.
tour with him too. But again, it's because we don't just have one consistent, like if I was consistently 5 nights a week doing my own show, then I wouldn't have to do all
Right.
these others. But since we're not, that's the big change that
Yeah.
is now.
So what about Vegas has made you stay here?
I grew up here. Being that
Right.
being that I was born down south in Big Sur, Mississippi. My mom moved here when I was 3. I've been here all my life.
Right.
So it's home for me, but it's also being an entertainer, being in the middle of all this
Okay.
amazing entertainment that
So you
comes in.
love Vegas. You're
I
like, this is my
absolutely
home, and I'm
adore it.
staying.
Yeah. You know, the
Yeah.
thing about it is I love to travel, but I always love to come home.
Yeah.
So that's
There's something about the city that's nowhere like it in the world.
Nowhere.
It's like a fancy things that happen here that are Vegas. You go somewhere else and you forget that. Wait, I'm not in Vegas right now. I can't be doing all that, right?
You know, and the amazing thing about it is I've learned with all the different places that I've traveled to, people don't think people live in Vegas. They just, they can't see past the Las Vegas Strip. So they think, you guys actually live
Yeah,
in
you
Vegas?
live on the strip. Like, no, it's one road. What do you mean? Where's everyone gonna go?
Right. And there are people who actually,
do.
they actually think that. It's like, yeah, they got neighborhoods there. Yeah.
The whole state of Nevada. What's happening?
Right.
It's amazing. You just like try not to be ignorant, but at the same time, you're like,
Right.
I mean, it's like a fantasy world. They forget it's a city.
That's very true. It's like a fantasy.
Weird,
Because
yeah.
they come here and they visit, they stay on the Las Vegas Strip, and some of them tell me, man, when we come to Vegas, we don't even sleep. They just stay up, go from
The
hotel to
rooms to
hotel.
put their stuff.
All right.
Change,
Having a ball.
shower, and then they go back
And
out.
so
Yeah.
they never think that
Yeah.
we have a neighborhood here, we live here, right?
What? Really? Like on the side of the road? Like, what do you mean? So where do you want to end up? Because I highly doubt that this one is like it for you. Do you have any other goals that you want to push yourself further?
my
Where is the end
goals-
goal for you?
I have my goals. I am focused and set and driven on winning the Best New Artist of the Year for
Okay.
a Grammy, Best New Artist of the Year for a Soul Train Award, Best New Artist of the Year for a BET Award. And I am focused. That's my ultimate goal is to have a national hit record.
Amazing. And that's not hard to achieve. Like you've already emasculated so much. So I mean,
And I'm gonna tell you, those things are not far away, and I feel that in my heart.
yes,
You know what I'm saying? The Super Bowl is going to be here for the first time
right.
ever. Usher is performing at the Super Bowl. I got a chance to go see Usher, and he's amazing. Don't get me wrong, he's amazing. But I said to myself, what's different from what Usher does and what I do? He has hit records and I don't.
Right.
That's the only difference.
Yeah.
I have a following. He has a larger following because he's a national recording artist, so people know him all over the world. But I'm coming.
Right. I mean, you're close because you recently just won. You're now inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And
yes.
that probably was an amazing achievement for
Oh,
you to like
amazing.
wrap your head around that you
Amazing. Yeah.
were inducted.
Well, I think about where I started from. And be like, look how far God has brought me.
Right.
You know, and He's not done with me yet. So
Right.
I'm still.
Yep, you're young, you got energy, you're doing all of these things. So of course not. And I love people that don't want to just be here. They want to continue to push as far as they can
Well, it's
go.
one thing to be,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful to know that I have a following here in Vegas. But there's a whole world bigger than Vegas.
yeah.
You know, to be a national recording,
Maybe international.
There you go.
There's
There you
more.
go. There
You
you
already
go.
kind of are. They got your picture
Yeah.
someplace in the world that
They
you didn't
do.
know
At
existed.
my name,
So,
you didn't even
hey,
know.
you might be on like the wall
Didn't
somewhere
even know.
framed.
People ask me all the time, say, what's the most amazing place you've ever traveled to and performed at? And it was London, England.
Okay.
So I got a chance to perform in London, England. And I did a 1 hour show. And I got a chance, I was there for 3 days and 2 nights. And I got a chance to tour London while I was there. Because I love sightseeing. I love to go sightseeing. And I learned about there's so much history in London. And those are things that I love doing. I'm here because of my music. I'm not here just on a family vacation. I'm here because of my music. Had I not been doing music, I don't know if I ever would have traveled there. But I got a chance to go to Westminster Abbey. I got a chance to go to Buckingham Palace. And I thought, like, wow, I grew up over in the hood in Las Vegas, Nevada, and here I am at Buckingham Palace.
Right, because of my job. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different than you buying your ticket and then.
And let me correct you, because I don't have a job. I have a career. And that's and it's a big difference.
There's a difference.
It is a difference. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that, because a lot of people do what they have to do every day. Some people work their 9 to 5 because they have to, and I love and I respect that. But I do what I love to do.
Right.
I get up with my eyes open, and I be like, yeah.
So what legacy do you want to leave behind in music?
Well, I want people, especially when people remember me, I want people to, when they say E.C. Adams, I want them to remember how I made them feel. People can sometimes forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. I've done shows where it's been people's birthday, and I had an opportunity, and I just walk up to them and get a chance to sing happy birthday to them. And seeing in my shows, I give out roses and
right,
things like that. And so when I walk up to somebody and sing happy birthday to them, and one of my dear friends was in a beauty shop getting her nails done, and the lady who I sang happy birthday to 2 weeks ago was in the same, and she said, it was this guy, he sang happy birthday to me on my birthday, and it was so wonderful, this, that, and that. His name was E.C. Adams, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me that day. And she called me on the phone, and she said, E.C., she said, there's a lady in here who you sang happy birthday to 2 weeks ago, and she's still excited. And then she told the lady I was on the phone, and she's screaming. Those are things that you cannot buy. Money can't buy that.
Yeah. So this final question is what I ask all of my guests on the show. It really sums up who they are and their meaning and their purpose into what it is that they do. And so is there a philosophy that you live by?
God first. Put God first, and you can conquer the world.
Yeah, and that's what you've done. And you wholeheartedly believe everything that you're meant for, you're going to have.
I wake up talking to God. I go to bed talking to God. I talk to God all through I talk to God while I'm on stage. But God first, and there's nothing you can do.
Yes.
You can't do. Nothing you can't do.
Yes. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been an amazing conversation with you. I've learned so much just by listening to you. So if you can tell the audience members your next upcoming show so they can come support, and also your social media handles to get in touch with you.
Yes, I am E.C. Adams on Facebook and also on Instagram. I will be performing a tribute to Michael Jackson and Prince, and that's Sunday, March the 3rd at the Italian American Club, and it's a dinner show. And doors open at 6 p.m. Dinner starts at 6:30. Showtime is 8 p.m. Tickets are only $65 a person for dinner and a show. Now, where can you go in Las Vegas, Nevada, and get dinner and an amazing show for $65? Again, E.C. Adams, a tribute to Michael Jackson and Prince, Sunday, March 3rd at the Italian American Club. You can go to iacvegas.com and get your tickets.
And your social media handles?
And my social media is E.C. Adams on Facebook and also on Instagram.
Okay. That's him. So everyone, round of applause for E.C. Adams. It's an amazing conversation. Great energy, positive energy. Someone who is all about fulfilling their dreams. Got a lot of wisdom. You've seen a lot of things. You meet a lot of people. And I think that shapes you to what kind of performer you are. So congratulations on everything that you've been doing. So when we come back, there is one more guest. So make sure you guys don't go anywhere.